So we've got this book, Apartheid Guns and Money, A Tale of Profit. A real page-turner? It sounds juicy, right?
It is. Think state secrets, international intrigue, and enough cash to make your head spin.
Seriously, like James Bond meets the Truth and Reconciliation Commission?
Exactly. Except the villains are real, and the stakes were incredibly high.
Whoa. Okay, I'm hooked. Let's dive in. So this whole thing starts with a super secret state, right? Way beyond what we usually think of as government secrecy.
Absolutely. The apartheid regime under P.W. Botha built a massive clandestine machine. Think military, intelligence, and big business all working together, completely off the books.
Right, and the goal?
To keep apartheid alive, even with international sanctions squeezing them, they needed weapons, oil, everything. And they needed to hide how they got it.
So this secret state was basically a criminal enterprise?
Exactly. And it's chilling how deeply ingrained secrecy was. Even today, there's a lingering obsession with keeping things hidden.
Right. And it wasn't just the government. Big business played a huge role, right?
Massive. The book shows how corporations were deeply involved, not just profiting from apartheid, but actively helping to bust sanctions.
Wow. Like how?
They were key players in the war economy, supplying the military and using loophole to hide information from shareholders. Plus, they were major donors to the National Party.
So a cozy relationship between the government and big business?
A very cozy and very corrupt relationship. It's fascinating how much they were willing to do to protect the status quo.
And then there's the oil. South Africa needed oil, but faced an embargo. How did they get around that?
They built a whole network of secret suppliers, traders, and shipping companies. Everyone involved made a killing, charging huge premiums.
So like a black market for oil.
Exactly, and the book details some of the key players, from the Shah of Iran to Mark Rich and John Duras. These guys were incredibly wealthy.
I see. And the cost?
Billions. The book estimates the extra cost to South Africa from this black market oil was staggering.
Gold, right? South Africa's always been big on gold. How did that play into this?
Gold was huge. It was a major source of foreign currency, and Swiss banks played a key role in managing South Africa's gold sales.
So the Swiss were in on it?
They were. The book revealed how Swiss banks provided loans and helped South Africa navigate financial crises, all while publicly condemning apartheid. It's a fascinating case of hypocrisy.
Right. And the Swiss weren't alone, right?
No, not at all. Banks all over the world were involved, from the U.S. to Europe. It was a global network.
This is where it gets really interesting. The book talks about a massive money laundering operation, right?
A massive one. Armscor, the South African state-owned arms company, used a complex network of front companies and bank accounts to move billions of dollars around the world to buy weapons illegally.
Wow. And the banks?
Credit Bank and its Luxembourg subsidiary were central to this. The book presents evidence suggesting they knew exactly what was going on and actively helped facilitate the money laundering.
Wow. So the banks were complicit in a massive crime against humanity?
The evidence strongly suggests that. It's a shocking revelation.
France also played a big role, right? Despite being a UN Security Council member.
Absolutely. The book details how France, despite publicly condemning apartheid, secretly supplied weapons and technology to South Africa. There was a secret Armscor office in the South African embassy in Paris.
And Dulcie September?
Her murder in Paris is a chilling example of the lengths some would go to protect these secret deals. The book explores the possible motives and suspects.
So a lot of unanswered questions there. This is a twist. The book reveals that South Africa even did business with the Soviet Union and Eastern European countries, right?
It's a crazy contradiction. While publicly railing against communism, South Africa secretly bought weapons from East Germany and other countries.
Interesting. And the motive?
Pragmatism and profit. These countries were also looking for hard currency and new markets. It was a mutually beneficial, albeit highly secretive, arrangement.
A real Cold War paradox. The U.S. is another key player. Despite sanctions, there was a lot of covert support for apartheid, right?
Absolutely. The Reagan administration, while publicly critical, secretly supported apartheid through intelligence agencies and conservative groups. The Iran-Contra scandal is a prime example.
And lobbying?
South Africa spent millions on U.S. lobbyists trying to influence politicians and shape public opinion. They even tried to buy influence with a presidential candidate.
Amazing. And the book reveals some of the key players in this. The UK also had a complicated relationship with apartheid. Publicly against it, but privately?
Privately, there was a lot of support, especially from the Conservative Party under Thatcher. The book highlights the role of figures like Julian Armory and Tiny Rowland, who had close ties to the apartheid regime.
And Le Cercle?
A secretive international organization that brought together influential conservatives from around the world, including South Africa. It was a key platform for sharing information and influencing policy.
So a lot of behind-the-scenes maneuvering. China is another surprising player. Officially no ties with apartheid South Africa, but the book suggests otherwise.
The book reveals a clandestine arms trade between South Africa and China, facilitated by Zaire. It's a fascinating example of how even seemingly opposing ideologies can find common ground when profit is involved.
Right. And the scale of this?
Significant. The book details specific weapons deals and the methods used to conceal them. It's a complex web of deceit.
A real eye-opener. Beyond the big players, the book also explores the network of smaller countries that acted as proxies for the major powers, right?
Yes, countries like Argentina, Chile, Singapore, and others provided transit points for weapons, false documents, and other support for apartheid. It was a global network.
And the motive?
A mix of profit, political gain, and in some cases, ideological sympathy. It's a reminder of how widespread the support for apartheid actually was.
A truly global conspiracy. So this book really paints a picture of a vast global network that propped up apartheid. It's a story of greed, hypocrisy, and the devastating consequences of unchecked power.
It is, and it's a reminder that even today, these kinds of networks still exist, and we need to be vigilant in challenging them.
That was a great discussion. Thanks for sharing your insights.